Hey, Bloodworth here. This segment is cut out from the Easy Allies podcast, which we record every week. You can catch full episodes on Sunday mornings, or if you become a patron at $5 and up, you can get early access and get those on Fridays. Thank you and enjoy. Okay, next up, I got to put a couple of hours into No Rest for the Wicked. This is the action RPG from Moon Studio, the makers of Ori.
Yeah.
And this thing is pretty sick. We show a little bit of the character creators where you start off. Like, we have this, like, total freakazoid proportions.
Interesting art style,
yeah. And what's interesting is you don't really change your body proportions. You just kind of change your face. But yeah, it's, you know, as you might expect, like really cool kind of that blending of like, these are 3D models, but it's very hand painted style or whatever. Yeah. And then Don, you can go ahead and move on to the opening cinema on this thing is just fully gorgeous. Like just the lighting and everything that they've got going on, and there's good, like pretty good character acting and stuff here. You kind of get this introduction where the old king has passed away, and everyone's kind of, you know, they're sort of paying their respects and then talking about the future, and the new king coming up is like, all right, well, I'm gonna go and basically take over. It seems. What do you think? The pestilence is spreading. So they're saying that, you know, the world will be reborn, and then you like just see a bunch of ships going out to take over these different areas. But then like not long after this, you basically get like washed up on a beach, and you punch some crabs and stuff like that.
Classic.
And then sorry, Don, you can actually skip to the next clip for this because this first clip is a little bit on the slower side. But yeah, the gameplay itself is like, it's this interesting mashup almost of, it's somewhere like between like Diablo and a Souls game.
Okay.
So you've got the kind of top-down look on the world. They said in the preview materials that the world is curved a bit, kind of like Animal Crossing, to like add to the perspective. Damiani
hates it.
But then your attacks and everything are very deliberate. You've got a stamina meter. You've got a weight system going on, so you have like, depending on what kind of armor that you're wearing, you have like a light, normal, and heavy mode.
Sure.
And it's interesting because your dodges really change based on that. So like when you're light, you get like this quick little dash. And then medium, the normal, like you have more of a roll.
Yeah.
And then the heavy, there's still a roll, but then you also get this thing, which I think is interesting because it gives you a little bit more of an incentive to go heavy, is if you hold both trigger buttons, you can like actually like stampede into a person and knock them over.
That's kind of cool.
But yeah, you have to really pay pretty close attention to animation and all of that stuff, like figure out when the right time is to get in and attack guys. There's also a fair amount of exploration. Like I think this like emphasizes exploration a lot more than even Diablo normally would, because there's like all these little pockets of areas where you can like clamber into like this little hole or crawl across cliffs, or like if you run at a ledge, you'll auto jump, kind of like in like Zelda's Ocarina of Time. So it's like you find a ledge and you run and you'll hop across it. And so there's like a lot of chests and stuff that you can find that way. And then I'm trying to think about what else. And then leveling up, it's got a lot of the same kind of like Souls-ish kinds of ways that you assign skill points. So every level, it seems like you get 3 skill points, and then you've got your health, and you've got your stamina, and then you've got the different things that scale with different weapons. So you've got strength and dex and int and faith.
Okay.
But then you also have
I like your little mushroom hat.
yeah. I found this mushroom guy, and he was kind of a pain in the butt because he was throwing firebombs a lot. But I found the mushroom hat. Another thing that was interesting with the weight is that it seems like sometimes when you eat certain foods, it will temporarily boost like your weight. Because I would actually like go back
Girl,
and forth.
I hear that.
But no, it's like sometimes it like temporarily like make you lighter.
Oh.
And so I would have these things like I would eat like some mushroom stew or whatever, and like okay, now I'm a little bit lighter. Now I can do the fast
pepped
dodge.
up. You got a little energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So
cool.
it's interesting. There are a lot of like little like resource points and stuff too. So you pick up things like axes that you can't use in combat, as well as like pickaxes and like fishing poles and stuff like that, so that you can get like wood and different types of like metals and like and fishing that you can buy recipes, and then you can cook the recipes with different effects. And that was actually one of the things that like I'm like having a little bit of a hard time with is like when I got to the boss fight, is that like I was burning through food, and when you go back to the checkpoint when you die, like it doesn't reset to the state you were in. It was like no, like all of that food that I burned is burned.
It's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's also some things too with when you die, it affects the durability of your weapons as well. So when you die, you lose weapon durability, and then eventually you have to start repairing it. And then same thing with like your different, like your armor and stuff like that. But it was especially like early on where this starts off, it was pretty tricky trying to find that balance of, I've got better armor, but it's making me too heavy, and figuring all of that out.
Right.
There's also there's a little bit of a stealth system to where if you can manage to sneak up on somebody, you can get a good backstab in on them. Won't always necessarily kill them, but you can stab them and then knock them over. And then that boss was just like a real like super freako, like just this big huge honking thing that was like eating bodies on a battlefield or whatever.
Cool designs, like the enemy and boss designs here, especially, are really crazy.
Yeah. He kind of swings around a lot, and so it took quite a few tries for me to figure out like when it was safe for me to move out of the way and block with a shield. And afterwards, I read the preview guide, and it was like, oh, you can parry him, and I'm like, okay.
Oh wow.
I was not brave enough to try to parry this crazy dude. But I did see a couple of other weapons. So there's I had like a regular sword. There is you can hold the button to charge, do a stronger attack that way.
Yeah.
There's also if you hold the right bumper, there's like a set of attacks they call runic attacks.
Okay.
And so basically you have that orange bar between your XP bar and your health bar. And when the orange bar fills up, then you can use your runic attacks. And so basically you hold R1 to toggle, and then you can execute that. And the one with the main sword I was using was like a kind of dash in and uppercut. But you still have to time it well. It can be totally interrupted. And so then you've just burned your meter and got hit at the same time. But I also had found like a pair of little stabby daggers.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Which I thought you might like, but then you don't have your
yeah.
shield. But obviously you don't usually use a shield.
I never use a shield. Yeah.
I also found like a big old honking claymore. So if you're into that great sword kind of build, you can go at that.
Because I was wondering, like the movement and attacking and stuff seemed pretty deliberate in the first footage that we were seeing. Like it didn't even look like you were running, but I think now you're kind of dashing all around and stuff. So it seemed like you were just RP walking, I guess, some of the time.
Yeah, I mean, so like you can hold, so it's a A button to dodge, and then you can hold it to run.
But it burns stamina pretty fast, looks like.
Yeah, like what's interesting is that I think that you can still dodge when you have no stamina, but you're not recovering. Like it's stopping you from recovering.
Sure.
So I think that's kind of an interesting concession there.
Yeah.
But yeah, trying to think about what else there is. Oh yeah, I did pick up some rings too. So I got a feather ring. So
Cool.
that helped me with the equip load
I
there.
like accessories.
Yeah, definitely has the nice little shortcuts with like knocking down ladders or.
I'm transfixed by this B-roll blood. you almost won. Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
He beat the
knocking
boss.
over a bridge. But yeah, but so far, yeah, it's feeling pretty good.
Cool.
It looks really freaking
It's
cool.
beautiful.
Yeah, like the character interactions and stuff are really gorgeous. And this is going up after they just had their own live stream, and they've got other people streaming it and stuff too.
Cool.
So you can see some other people play through this section.
Do we have a date or anything on this, or?
As of right now, I don't think that we have a date. But I don't know what they've announced during the stream. They might have actually announced the date already by the time you're watching this. So, but it's looking promising. Obviously, I love Ori, love the gameplay feel of Ori, and I like what I feel from this so far.
Yeah.
You just, you have to learn those attack patterns and stuff, but it's, like I said, it's a little bit on that slower pace to where it makes sense. It's like, okay, swing, 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 and then back up.
Yeah.
Because somebody's going to come at you with something.
Cool.
Damiani, you had any questions? Since I know you liked Ori, but you're not as much into these top-down action RPGs as often.
I mean, this is incredible that they can make something that looks like this coming off of Ori.
Yeah.
Like, it just, gameplay-wise, it's so drastically different than Ori, yet, just shows how talented they are. So, good to see it's coming along nicely.
Yep. I'm definitely eager to play more now.